Hi, everybody. My name's Derek. I'm the CEO and founder of Wenwyn, helping you get a win at the intersection of leadership and culture. And in this episode, we're going to talk about time travel. Does time travel exist? And if it does exist, what does that mean for how leaders meet and influence culture? Well, as it turns out, time travel does exist. Surprise, but maybe not in the way that you think it does. Time travel exists experientially, if not chronologically. Now, there's a couple of ways you can think about time. One way is chronos, being in time, in a moment in time. We get the word chronology from that idea. Right now, everywhere, it's 2022. It's the same year. So when we're traveling within the same time frame. It's in time. It's a chronology of time. When most people think of time travel, they tend to think of chronology. That's what science fiction is built on. We move to a different chronos, a different place in time. But there's another way to think about time, and that's kairos. That is experientially being on time. To be on time in a place where time is viewed a little different is, it can be challenging if you're in a very punctual time frame of reference culturally. To go to a place where that's a little more elastic can be difficult. But both places would be considered to be on time. Now, this is important because you can actually travel to the past in the way that you experience time in the present, in 2022. So chronos isn't going to change very much. We're in this time and space. But kairos can change pretty dramatically depending on where you are. Every place has equal worth, but not every place is equally influential. And so there are places on the planet today where it can feel as if you're traveling back in time. One extreme example of that would be to travel to the Amish community. The Amish community, they're raising barns, they drive horse and buggy carriages. It's not very technological. It's certainly not very 2022 in the way that we think of what it means to live in this present day and age. So they're in time, they're in 2022, but in terms of being on time and chronology, the way we experience it is we experience it as if we're going to the past. There are places on the planet where people are still chucking a spear to catch a fish. And sometimes we can come from their future and go, let me tell you about Costco and the frozen fish aisle and everything you can get, in the middle of nowhere just because that store exists. It's kind of a mind blower. It's like an astronaut coming down and saying, hey, let me speak to you from the future. You may have a sense that it exists, but it's not what you experience. There are places with far more dirt roads than paved roads. Last fall, I was in Athens, Greece, and I saw payphones everywhere. I had honestly forgotten about payphones. I forgot that they actually existed. And yet they were still there and relevant to where they were in time. So time experientially is very different. And the way that we approach time as a leader is important because we have to meet people not just in terms of chronos, but we have to meet them in terms of kairos in order to bring them along. Now, recognizing that there are different experiential places and times means that time travel is possible. You can travel to the past. I mentioned the Amish. Maybe you're thinking of a grandparent's house where they have the plastic over the sofas or some place that time forgot. But there are also places that are a little more futuristic, places that are dealing with future trends, places that are dealing with the graying of the population, that are dealing with infrastructure, that are dealing with worldview in a way that will ultimately influence everyone else down the line. And time really, truly does flow one way. Kairos flows one way. There's a high chance that in the future, someone will use a technology that is new today. And that's because that technology trickles back, it trickles down, it trickles over and across time. That's neither bad nor good, it just is. Some people catch on quicker than other people. Some people understood the implications of the internet before other people did. There's an adoption process, not only in technology, but an adoption process in fashion. There's an adoption process in worldview and philosophy. There's an adoption process in many things. And not everything will be adopted. So there's a curve to it. And it's important for the leader, if you're coming into a culture, to kind of know where in time that particular city or that particular culture is. It allows you to meet them where they are. It allows you to know what you're bringing to their context and how to influence. It allows you to know how to speak their language, to speak their context a little bit better. Maybe not completely with just that information, but a little bit better. It certainly makes you somewhat insightful into the pace and the mentality of that area. Why haven't they moved as far forward? Why isn't every place as future forward as some places are? Why are some places future, like past backward? Well, that's typically intentional. Whether it's realized or not, it's an intentional decision-making process. It's conscious. Even if they're not aware, they're still making decisions based on that. We don't want that newfangled thing here, or we'll see how it goes first. And finally, when it gets mass adoption, then typically someone goes, well, maybe we shouldn't churn our own butter. Maybe we should go buy it from the store. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this thing. But for now, for this video, I just want to root in the leader's mind that time travel is possible. It's possible experientially. It's possible in the way that you enter into a world. It's possible in the way you look at religions. It's possible in the way that you look at philosophies. It's possible in the way that you look at culture, fashion, music, all kinds of things. Every place has equal worth. Every place on the planet, I believe this fully, has equal worth. There is no place that is somehow worthless simply because their kairos passed. But not every place is equally influential. So knowing where your context is in the line of influence allows you to know who they're actually paying attention to in front of them, and then who will be influenced by them on the back end. So what villages or towns will they wind up influencing as a result? So I just want to fix that in your minds from now. Time travel is possible. The idea of being in time, chronos, and being on time, kairos, and how actually kairos in many ways matters more than chronos, especially when it comes to leadership and the engagement, the intersection of leadership and culture. I want you to be aware that we have a course coming out on social responsibility, kind of justice perspectives. We've got a great vision and strategy course that you can take, Wenwyn.com for more information. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button or hit the like button. That allows us to continue producing content. All right, take care, and until the next episode.